All right, welcome to the Friday version of the Soscast. We love the Friday episodes around here. Welcome to the Soscast, the sexiest financial podcast in the world. This is where finance meets romance. My name's Adam Sosnick. You call me Sos. You know that. You see the name behind me, right? SOS, just in case you need to call for help. That's, you can also remember that as well. Call me Sos. And we are here to help you fellas out there, and even you ladies out there, get paid, get laid, and do it your way. The lovely Natalya DelValle is out here as always. Look at that smile, $1 million.
Hi.
She didn't even have to pay for it. That just came natural.
Well, I did have an orthodontist.
Oh shit, she did.
I had an orthodontist.
Okay, that's my bad. All right, we got R. Kelly in the house. Let's get a
Kelly. No,
shout out to
R. Kelly.
Sorry, Kelly. I don't know if you heard about R. Kelly. He's going back to jail for some more of what he likes to do.
Kelly Queen.
We've got by the way, cheers to you guys out there.
Cheers.
You know, we like the Friday episodes. This may or may not be a cocktail. We can't talk about these cocktails until we get a liquor sponsor.
Juice.
The juice out there. We got the juice.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've had an amazing week here at Valuetainment. We had our first live event that went off. Like, I thought it'd be good. It was great.
Yeah. It was phenomenal.
If you missed that, it was ridiculous. Tune into that. We did that at the PBD podcast yesterday. It was amazing. A couple hundred people here live in the audience. PBD, myself, the Biz Doc, Vinny. It was an amazing event. The VIPs went back to the Cigar Lounge after that. Yep. It was just an amazing time. So if you were here, shout out to being here. We took pictures. We had lunch. We had a great time. People asked questions. Good conversations. By the way, what'd you think of the live event? You were there. You were doing the hostess thing.
It was epic. It was definitely a real show. I think the audience really got to interact with the actual podcast. I think sometimes when things are online too much, you don't really get that personal connection. And based on like how the audience and the feedback we got, they really enjoyed it. And I think they really got to experience the energy that comes from the podcast in real life. So it was phenomenal. I loved it. I loved meeting. I think one thing my favorite is like meeting like people who are fans, meeting people who support what you're doing. It's just a nice little rev up of like, keep going, keep doing it. And it was interesting. It was very interesting to see everyone interact. It was just the excitement and everything. And a lot of hard work put behind it, so shout out to the Valuetainment team for putting it together and all the hard work behind it. Pat, shout out to Pat for, putting up the podcast together, and all of you guys, the content creators, for, putting on a show for everyone who came.
It was
it was phenomenal.
Show. Real talk. A show. By the way, we are working on doing a live event for the Soscast.
Yes.
Stay tuned on that. We're also we're going to be putting together also another big event for an episode. We're going to reveal that next time.
I think you said we were going to have strippers at the Soscast. Like,
yeah.
Too soon? Do I not say that?
Strippers are people too. And, we do not discriminate around here. Kelly, how'd you like the live event yesterday?
Yeah.
You were real sweet. You were running the show. You were also security at one point.
Yeah.
I was actually. I thought it was really great. A lot of different kinds of people got to come that normally just sit and watch from home, and they get to meet these people that they watch every week, and it's incredible to see them have such an impact in their life in real time versus watching it through the screen. So I think that mattered a lot. And again, shout out to the VT team because that went unbelievably well.
Yeah, we really appreciate the guys that showed up live. We really appreciate the guys and ladies that showed up live, and also that obviously watched on the YouTube. One of my favorite books I always reference is How to Win Friends and Influence People, and what they talk about is not only the necessities of life, food, water, shelter, everything that kind of comes with that, clothes, everything, but appreciation. So appreciation, if people don't feel appreciated, they lose that zest for life. So we felt appreciated yesterday with all the people that showed up, with the attendees, with all the love we got online, and we appreciate them. So that's just a little appreciation out there. With that being said, let's get into what we're going to be discussing on today's Soscast, where finance meets romance. We all know about that. By the way, thank you guys for being here. Give us a sub if this is your first time being here. And if you're a repeat customer, thank you. As we did last time, Nat, would you man the chat?
Yes.
Tell us where you're from and your age. Would you do that again, Nat?
Yes, I'll man the chat and I'll check everyone out. Yeah,
Nat's
I like that idea, actually.
Nat's going to be reading Super Chats today.
Yes.
We're going to be maybe addressing some Super Chat drama we've had.
Oh,
unbeknownst to me.
I think it's time.
I was sort of the last person to find out that there's some internet drama going on. I saved the drama for your mama.
Right.
But here's what's going on today. We PBD did a massive interview today with Andrew Tate's lawyer. It was amazing. We're going to talk about what they discovered today and what was sort of revealed with that. Stay tuned for that. Joe Rogan has been in some heat regarding some comments that he's made. What else is new with that?
Right.
Why I don't think the comments are that big of a deal, and we'll address those details. Tom Brady and Gisele, there's some updates there.
Yes.
You know, there's hundreds of millions of dollars at play, whether it's Tate's lawsuit, $300 million, Joe Rogan's deal, $200 million, or the $500 million divorce situation.
Yes.
A lot of money going on in the Brady world and in the celebrity world. Why I think this might be controversial. Stay tuned for this. Why I think Gary Vee is a mess. Oh. Okay? Absolute mess. Stephen A. Smith on his trips to Miami and the gold diggers that he's trying to stay away from. Madonna. Not so good. Not so good, Madonna. Joe Rogan got in a little issues with the misogyny that he's talking about. Or is he just being a realist? That's what's going on here. Aging is weird, says former beauty queen Jennifer Love Hewitt. Excuse me.
Don't die.
And again, we might just address some of the super chat drama. Nat, before I choke down something, go ahead. Tell us what the crowd should know, what we got going on.
Well, first, thank you all for joining today's podcast on the Soscast. We appreciate each and every one of you. I'll be reading the chats. I'll be reading all the chats today. So we'll be addressing that. Make sure you guys, Adam already kind of addressed it, you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We've got a lot of exciting things coming. I do have some people who are actually coming from Portugal. Shout out to you, Portugal. Yeah. We've got Kansas, 21, Miami local, Wisconsin. We've got Andrew from Dallas. So we've got a few people around the world. I know we had someone from, I think, Iran last time.
Shout out to my Iranian friends. Yes, by the way, keep an eye on that.
Yes, I will.
Whoever has the best comments, I want you to give them a shout out.
Yes.
We appreciate you, like we talked about earlier, showing appreciation.
Yes.
We're going to read your super chats. We're going to read your comments. And the weirdest city, why don't we give them a shout out? You're like, I didn't know that we had a friend in Nairobi.
Yeah.
Okay, so there it is right there. We're also going to be discussing U.S. savings rates that are going on today. Ooh. So real quick, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor that we talk about all the time, and that is Manscaped. You know, I'm all about self-improvement, male self-improvement, okay? Let the ladies do what they got to do.
Correct.
I'm focusing on the fellas out there. I'm all about self-improvement, whether that's getting better, richer, smarter, healthier, wealthier, cooler, sexier, and cleaner.
Thank God.
I'm all about keeping it clean. You're saying thank God?
Thank God.
Okay. Well,
I like them clean. I like people clean.
Yeah. Nobody likes a dirty ass dude or a scruffy ass dude or a homeless looking dude. Kind of keep it clean, looking your best. So part of keeping it clean is, trimming up a little bit, certain areas, up, down, left and right, all that kind of certain areas.
All around.
And that's what Manscaped helps you fellas do out there. So if you're not keeping it clean, you really need to consider what Manscaped does for you. Now, we all know that when you think of Manscaped, it's kind of like keeping the family jewels clean. But here's what, you see this is going on right here? Mm-hmm. See this 5 o'clock shadow?
Shadow.
Yeah, I trimmed up.
Yes.
I kept it clean. I was growing a little beard. Mm-hmm. I'm not a person that likes it like completely fresh shaved. Some people look good like that. Mm-hmm. A girl I was dating one time told me, you'd be nothing without your beard.
No way.
And I said, you know what? You're right. Shout out to Manscaped for kind of keeping this. Anyway, so they have a beard hedger that I use. It has 20 different lengths. So if you want the 5 o'clock shadow look, you can do that. If you have a big scruffy beard like our friend Leo out there, it's out there. Kind of trim that kind of area. If you want to go clean shaven, you can do that. I don't necessarily recommend that, but you can. Or if you want to, just kind of shape it up a little bit, they got that beard trimmer for that. Yeah. And here's the deal. You can actually do it in the shower. Oh. Yeah. So you never have to have you ever had your sink? It's all dirty. It's all messy. Down the shower. Hey, nice. How we doing out there? Anyway, it's a one-stop shop here at Manscaped. It's not just for your face. It's not just for the family jewels. It's a whole host of products. Everything you need for good hygiene and keeping it clean. The Platinum Package 4.0. It has the electric razor, so no nicks, no cuts, looking good. Beard oil, beard balm, shampoos, body washes, body sprays, deodorants for upstairs, downstairs. If you've got little nose hairs going on or ear hairs, so you ever see an old man just with ear hair growing out? It's like, buddy, what are you doing out there?
No bueno.
Manscaped takes care of that, so shout out to Manscaped for that. And you can put it all in a travel kit. So if you're a dude on the go like I am, where I'm up and down, I'm left and right, and I'm traveling, you just throw it all in a little kit, boom, you're out there. And they also throw in a free pair of scissors and clippers and tweezers for the man on the go. But here's the deal for you guys out there. 20% off. If you go to manscaped.com, you can get 20% off if you use the code Soscast, SOSCAST, 20% off at Manscaped. That's 20% off Manscaped. Thank you guys at Manscaped for all you do and helping keeping it clean, and you guys keep it clean out there. With that being said, let's start this episode. What I want to do is start this way. Is it possible to pull up an image on YouTube of PBD interviewing the lawyer? I'd like people to get an idea of what happened today. Yeah. I think there were 16,000 people watching live. Okay?
At once.
You know, usually we get 5, 6, 8,000 people like watching
10,
live, 10,000 sometimes. 16,000 is a big number. Okay? You pull that up, Kels?
Perfect.
Okay, that's her. We all know PBD, the logo, maybe a shot of the both of them. Boom.
Right.
So they had a great discussion today. It was amazing. And, you know, everyone wants to know what the hell's going on with Tate these days. And she provided a lot of insight as to what is happening. And I think a lot of us have always understood that this is just a complete frame job.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody that actually believes that he was holding women hostage or sex trafficking or any of that. I think a lot of it is trumped up charges. You guys let me know what you think. Is there some validity to this? Have you seen anything that proves that he's actually guilty? Because I firmly believe in innocent till proven guilty.
Right.
But we're starting to see a drip of information out there that's like, that doesn't add up. Okay, yep, the government's probably corrupt. They probably don't like that he's been calling out certain powerful individuals. I don't know. This guy Tate says a lot of misogynistic things taken out of context for the most part. And I just think that it's sort of a frame job of what they're trying to do. But we've learned anything with interviewing everyone that we've interviewed here on PBD's podcast and Valuetainment, the mafia guys, CIA, FBI. If the government wants to bring you down, they will find something to bring you down with, whether it's tax evasion or trafficking or jaywalking at some point. The government will get you.
They'll find you.
Now you think that's funny? Yeah. So here's what we do know about Tate, that he did run a webcam business, okay, that was for female sex workers. We know that. Here's also the deal. There's nothing illegal about that. There's strip clubs, there's different sex websites, there's OnlyFans, there's cam girls. It might be a little risque, a little provocative at times, but there's nothing fundamentally illegal about that. Now, you also kind of need to pay your employees, you got to pay your taxes. That's fine. That's common business practices, but it's actually, for the most part, a legitimate business. It might be a sultry business. You might look down on it, sex workers, but it is legal, okay? So here's what's happened since then. So, you know, there's been some leaked chats about the women who are basically making these allegations, the accusers. So do we want to start with the chats, or do we want to start with the actual New York Post article of what's going on?
Let's do the New York Post
Okay,
first,
let's start with the New York Post, and then we'll get into the chats of what's happening out there.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's going to be a message here for you guys regarding your money at the end of this thing. So it's not just, hey, we're covering Tate, hey, that's the story. There's something that you can learn from this. Okay, so let's start with that New York Post article that's basically highlighting the $300 million counter lawsuit that Tate is threatening the accusers with. So Natalya, I know that you've been working on your reading, not only Superchats, actual books, actual magazines, actual articles.
Yes.
So would you do the honors of sort of highlighting what the details are on this case, would you?
Sure. So let's pull up the, okay, cool.
So let's start with the top of the article if we can. Oh, we already saw that. Okay.
Okay. You want me to start at the top or where she highlighted?
No, we got that. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right. And then, Kelly, where should I start?
The letter included the women.
Okay. The letter included a threat to sue a woman and her family for $300 million if she didn't take back her accusations. In April 2022, the letter reads, "You falsely stated to a third party that our client human trafficked you, abused you, and held you against your will. You have repeated false and defamatory statements to the police, the media, and another United States citizen about the Tate brothers."
Scroll down. Okay, court documents.
All right. Court documents in the case detail on how Tates are accused of heading a brutal crime gang that tricked women into sex trade, allowing the brothers to earn the riches and bragged about their widely banned social media posts. Okay. I want to continue?
Yeah, no, that's good. So basically, and if you can scroll down, there's a picture of the lawyer right there. Yes. By the way, she ended up randomly, of all people in the world, of all people that can be doing this, she went to high school with PBD.
I know.
What is that all about?
Very interesting.
Enter conspiracy theory number 4. Okay? But that's very random. But I thought she was very capable. I thought she was very competent. Yes. I thought she was well-spoken. She's represented some very famous people. I think it was the singer Kesha. I think she represented
Johnny Depp.
Wow.
Was it? No, it wasn't Johnny. It was Jussie Smollett. Everything that she's dealt with some very high profile lawsuits. That's for sure. So what's interesting about these lawsuits and why I think that it's such nonsense of what is happening right now is that some messages have been leaked. Some messages have been leaked. Now, have you ever been accused of something you have not done? Oh, there is nothing more frustrating than that.
Yes.
If you've been accused of something you've done, or maybe it's contorting the truth, maybe there's like, there's like that weird feeling of you caught me, but was I right? Was I wrong? But when you're innocent, let's say, and somebody accuses you, and they're so certain about it, and it's so public in this case, there's no worse feeling in the world. Yeah. And that's why Tate is basically countersuing or just suing, not even countersuing because there's no lawsuit, for $300 million. Yeah. And you know what? Something tells me that if these women are lying, which we're going to show some evidence of what they're doing, and they're basically conspiracizing or conspiratorially going after him, that he could win. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, I don't know how he's going to recoup this kind of money from these women.
Right.
But this is what's going on. So WhatsApp messages have been leaked between the two women who were basically involved with the Tate. So apparently, there's this whole lover boy method that men basically perpetuate this love fantasy with women, and they prey upon their emotions to
get them to
convince them to do things that maybe are not in their best interests. That's this lover boy method. But what is the lover girl method? Bum, 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 bum. The lover girl method is this. So the women pretended to be in love with Andrew and Tristan as far as to basically get in with them and to, as you'll see, try to basically make a Netflix documentary
out of this.
Wow. So this is some pretty weird stuff. So they pretended to fall in love with Andrew and Tristan. Now, I don't know if they were sex workers, if they were cam girls. I don't have those exact details. So don't, shit on me because I don't know the exact details of who these women were. All I know is that they were in their life. Right. And the women have names. There's Emma and Aliona. Let's just call her Emma and Ali. Okay. And basically, here's some of the chats. We can pull this up, and we don't need to go into detail of the chats, but just you can see what's going on. They scroll down. They're using terms like this. You're such a good actress. This is what they're saying to themselves. You're such a good actress. Yes. Just play dumb. Act like you don't know what's going on. Pull out some tears, or I'm going to pull out some tears, and we're going to make the brothers think that we're in love. Oh, by the way, we need a fucking Oscar for the acting job that we are doing.
Wow.
How about this? I can't wait to make a movie out of this and submit it to Netflix. You can see some of the stuff that's going on here. Text after text after text after text after text.
Wow.
So when you see evidence like this, this isn't texts of girls being like, he hit me, he raped me, he abused me. It's let's do something together, act it out, okay, play our role, and hopefully submit this to Netflix for a massive payday. These women, as it turns out, are the traffickers, okay? Trafficking lies, trafficking conspiracies, trafficking hurt into the Tates' lives. Now, what's happened to the Tates? They've had their assets seized, okay? As far as a global reputation, it's not like Tate had a massive, great reputation in certain circles. Right. In certain circles, people loved him, admired him. I bet even here on Valuetainment, we've had a great time with Tate, class act of a guy. But certain people were looking for ways to hate this guy. And this is what they've done. We all saw what happened with Greta Thunberg and the pizza and all this drama. It turned out to all be nonsense. The government of Romania were working on this case for quite some time. They could have raided the house at any moment, but they basically waited for the opportune moment. So here's what I took away from what the lawyer had to say. Because Pat, the last question he said was, so, you know, what's your take? You're a woman.
Yeah.
What's your take on Andrew Tate's message that he puts out there versus what has been perpetuated in the MSM, the mainstream media? And she goes, listen, I think it comes down to long-form content and short-form content. Yes. You can find a 30-second clip of him saying, well, women are property. But if you extrapolate and go over to the long-form content, he would say something like, well, you know, traditionally, the father of the bride gives away the woman and it becomes the man's property. So, like, if you don't tell the full story of a wedding, let's say, and you just hear the woman is the property, then it's okay to jump to conclusions. Right. But I thought that it was very interesting that a woman, a female lawyer, you know, Johnny Depp used as a female lawyer, Tate's done it now. It's kind of saying, hey, I trust you. You're capable. You can get the job done. This is my life and my freedom on the line. And I'm going to pick the best person for the job. And he chose her. Now, from an optics standpoint, it's also beneficial to have a woman defending you if you're this misogynist. Right. Right? Well, it just comes back down to to her point. She goes, I think Andrew Tate's message is really one of self-improvement, getting your shit together, stop being fat, lazy, and a loser. And if you actually put in the work, you can become a top G or the top G for that matter. Now, what she also said was, what I think the world thinks of Tate is misogynist, right? Woman hater, woman beater, right? And I think that's a very unfair mischaracterization of what he stands for. Is there some element of it? Meaning, has he said things that are shocking? Sure. Yeah. But you know what I also stand for more than anything? Freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of belief. You don't have to agree with what Tate is saying, but that's the whole premise of freedom of speech. I don't necessarily agree with what you're saying, but I will defend your right to say it. So where are we at as a society today that we're canceling people because we don't like what they say or how they make you feel? Okay? And that it's okay to have outrage. It's okay to have backlash. That's fine. Yes. You can protest. But what you can't do is just cancel somebody because you don't agree with what they have to say. Right. So, and I also believe in innocent until proven guilty.
I thought what also was shocking was how she explained how difficult it was to get in communication with them. You know, you would think that because you're representing people that you'll be able to have certain conversations with them, privacy with them. And she shared how everything's in a different language. So everything for the Tate side is like for them to fail, essentially. So it makes you think, like, are they really trying to help him prove himself innocent till guilty, or are they trying to make it as difficult as possible to pin something on him or them? And it was just interesting because you see what's going on. You see them struggling. Like, you see the photo. Like, I see the photos of Tate today, and I'm like, man, like, he looks beat up. You know, we're used to seeing him like top G with his cars and his money, and he's together, he's clean, he's, you know, and both of them. And to see them, like, they look like they're struggling. And it's very sad, because I know there's people in the world who are enjoying it. There's people in the world who I do think believe what is going on is true. And, you know, the women who are having these conversations behind closed doors, I feel bad for those women, only because it's like you have to stoop down to this lowest level to have some sense of success in your life. And I think to find success through failure and through like mischievous things, it's a bad way to represent yourself. And when the truth comes out, like how some of these text messages are, you know, it makes the woman even look even worse, you know? And I think that's important today, that, you know, when there's times of chaos and disaster, you know, people who resort to feeding into that rather than doing the right thing. But it was very interesting to hear her take, and you can see she was very, like, I don't want to say worried, but she was very like, I want to help these gentlemen. Mm-hmm. There's no like, I'm looking for a paycheck. You know, you can meet people and you're like, oh, you're just looking for the fame and the light and the clout. And you can see she's really trying to work to get away, get them out of jail. Mm-hmm. So it's very sad overall, the whole story. I think this whole story is the women, the men, the situation. But I think once it ends and everything comes to light, I think it's going to be a real big eye-opener for everybody out in the world. Mm-hmm. I think everybody's going to think twice before they do certain things. And I think it'll be a good lesson for everybody, but I hope that it comes to the truth coming out and everybody gets the fair result of that.
Yeah, it was a great glimpse into what it's like being an attorney, representing someone who's been falsely accused, trying to communicate with somebody in another language on the other side of the world. She's in California, I believe. Yes. So communicating from California to Romania, that's probably a 10-hour difference.
Yes.
Okay. What I thought was interesting, and this is, if you ask me what I think Tate stands for, it's, stoicism, right? Dealing with pain and hardship and not crumbling and not giving into the worst that you can kind of get to. Some people want to play victim. That is not what Tate stands for. That's the biggest takeaway I took from him, having a positive mindset. And it was very interesting, because there was 4 of them within the Tate crime family, so to speak, that were in jail. It was the Tate brothers, Andrew and Tristan, but also 2 women that worked with them. I think it was Georgina and another lady as well. Mm-hmm. Do you know that they freed the 2 ladies? They took they put the 2 ladies that were in jail. They put them on house arrest, so they're home now. Right. And he said, "Well, what are your thoughts on that?" And she goes, "I spoke with Andrew and Tristan, and who are currently in jail. I think in side-by-side cells. Yeah. And she goes, the one thing that I will tell you about Tate is that he was happy that the women were out and that they were still in there."
Wow.
Okay? Think about that for a second. This misogynist, this person that hates women, was happy to hear that the 2 women were out, home safely, and they're still suffering in jail. Right. So, listen, I think any gentleman would put a woman who's falsely accused ahead of themselves and put himself in harm's way, so to speak, still in jail while the women are at least free. I thought that was very interesting. So we'll see what happens here. And my prediction is these women, Emma and Aliona, what I call the accusers, they are going to soon stand trial as to what they did wrong. So every hero or every main character has a story arc. And this is sort of the lowest moment in the story arcs, in this character's story arc. And something tells me that there's a silver lining, and as we say around here, the future looks bright. So it seems to me this is not the end of Tate. I don't think he's going to rot in cell for the rest of his life. No. I just don't see it. Something tells me he's going to redeem himself. He's going to come out the victor and just stay the course and keep a positive mindset. And do some push-ups while you're in jail. Come out a little bit stronger than you were on the other side.
And talk about being like mentally strong. You go from living a certain lifestyle, certain standards, certain things that you've sacrifice over your lifetime to have that lifestyle, to go live the life of being in jail, being accused, and doing all those things. Like, talk about turmoil. I can only imagine the mental state. Like, physical state, okay, you do some push-ups, sure. Yeah. But the mental toughness and the mentality you have to go through that. And then being in a different, country and all those things. Like, there's so many aspects to it. So, yeah, I hope it comes to conclusion very quickly.
I'll add one more thing. By the way, can you do a poll real quick if you think Tate is innocent, the Tates are innocent or guilty? That'd be interesting to see. I'll say one last thing about the Tates and regarding money. Okay, regarding money specifically, because we do like to cover some money on Valuetainment Money and the Soscast, where finance meets romance. We talked about this. It was Pat, Tate, and myself, and we talked about the greatest joy of having money and building wealth is remembering when you were broke.
Yes.
And ruminating over that fact. You remember when we were eating ramen noodles? You remember when we didn't have 2 pennies to pull together? Do you remember when we were living in our car? Look at us now.
Right.
So what's that?
What's the poll?
Innocent or guilty? So the story arc, as I mentioned, when I moved out of Miami to join Valuetainment in Dallas, I was living in a sick condo, penthouse, Miami, bay views, and I was living a good life. And it was the middle of COVID, and I could have chose to live anywhere in Dallas. I literally signed up for the smallest, tiniest 1-bedroom shack. I didn't have anything to prove. I didn't know anybody in Dallas. All I was doing was working, and I found comfort and solace in just minimalism. So something tells me that Tate is sitting in a cell, probably like this.
Just like that.
And just focusing, probably making a list, almost like a hit list, like Kobe used to do, of people you got to get back at. And just getting his mind, his spirit, and his soul prepared for when he's on the outside of how he's going to go and basically take down the people who have wrongfully accused him.
Right.
So with heartbreak, you can bounce back and become a stronger person and shape your heart. When you're wrongfully accused of something, you can't wait to get back out there and prove yourself and prove your innocence. And I feel like all that and then some is going to happen to Tate. So for you out there, if you're dealing with some struggles in your life, okay, just know that when one door closes, another door opens. So this too shall pass, a lot of people say. So find stoicism, find solace in the fact that you're still alive, you're still breathing, life's good, and that if you are innocent, justice will prevail.
Yes.
I feel like I sound like Batman right now. So the poll was, are the Tates innocent or guilty? So anyway, $300 million. That's what's going on there. By the way, there's going to be a money message coming up in a second regarding what I would have done with the money if I'm Tate. And but I also want to address what's going on with our friend Joe Rogan, if we can. So we just addressed Tate and everything that he's dealing with right there. Joe Rogan, the great Joe Rogan, is dealing with some drama as well. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this story. Can you pull that one up? So Rogan is basically dealing with some cancel culture, culture vulture type people about his comments about Jews and money, and basically enter some father drama. So here's how I'm going to process this, and we're going to explain this in a second. When it comes to money, father drama, and content creation, you can put your boy Saz here at the top of the list of understanding all three of those things. Okay, I've worked in finance for 17 years. I've been very vocal about the relationship I had with my father, very contentious, which is basically the exact same situation that Rogan is dealing with his father. And also making content, you're putting self out there. Very weird situation to be, whether you're making comments and dealing with money stuff or family stuff, when it's out there in the open and people can weigh on it, very uncomfortable situation. But here's the latest drama that Joe Rogan is dealing with regarding money, Jews, and his Spotify deal. So Kelly, would you go pull up that article? I believe it's from the New York Post. And let me read the top of the article if we can before you play the clip. Joe Rogan's dad claims money went to his head as Spotify's futures questioned after the Jewish comment. So the money went to his head, and this is his father basically insinuating drama to perpetuate whatever narrative that he wants to attach to Joe Rogan. By the way, Joe Rogan's father is named Joe Rogan Sr. So let's play this clip of what got Joe into quote unquote hot water. We can start at the beginning. I believe it's 30 seconds. This is what Joe Rogan had to say about Jews and money, which led to a potential cancelization of his Spotify $200 million deal, and his father weighing in on some of this stuff. Go ahead. We need volume.
Yeah.
Which is just about money. She's talking about Ilhan Omar, where she's apologizing for talking about it's all about the Benjamins.
Yeah.
Which is just about money. She's talking about money.
She shouldn't have apologized.
I'll go ahead and
say
not an anti-Semitic statement. I don't think that is. It's about Benjamins or money. You know, the idea that Jewish people are not into money is ridiculous.
Listen.
That's like saying Italians aren't into pizza.
Okay, so just pause it right there. So it's a political story talking about, it's all about the Benjamins, and he's incorporating Ilhan Omar's thoughts about the Benjamins and Jews and all this. She's a member of the Squad, political figure. I'm not going to get into all the politicization of all this. Not a fan of Omar. I am a fan of Rogan, and I am Jewish. Okay, so shocker alert. But I'm seeing a lot of Jewish people basically come at Rogan with a lot of backlash, with a lot of outrage, and trying to cancel Rogan. Wow. Here's what I'll tell my Jewish friends out there, as a Jew and as someone that is, in the content creation space and has worked in finance and understands money and has actually dealt with anti-Semitism and prejudice when I was growing up. These comments are not that shocking. Yeah. Okay? So all he said was, the fact that Jews aren't into money is ridiculous. It's kind of like Italians like pizza. Listen, there is some truth behind the Jews liking money. Yeah. You know who else likes money, by the way? Who? Everybody.
No way.
Turns out everybody likes money. Turns out everybody needs money.
I hope so.
Now, this is where a slippery slope type situation happens. He didn't say that Jews are cheap, that Jews won't spend $1 on anything. Yeah. He says that Jews like money. So does everybody. Yeah. Okay? So it's not like this is some anti-Semitic trope or some basically hating on Jews. By the way, keep in mind, if a comedian like Joe Rogan can't say something without having a little bit of jokiness to it, then who can?
Right.
Now, some people are going to say, well, he's got such a large platform that he has to be careful what he says. Fuck that.
Yeah.
The bigger the platform, the more outlandish you could possibly be.
Right.
Okay?
He talks shit for a living.
Talk your shit. You talk your shit for a living. I believe he said that.
Yeah.
I talk shit for a living. Is that where you got that from, Kelly? So it's not like he's out there saying, the Jews control the banks, or all Jews control the media. He's saying, hey, you know who likes pizza? Italians.
Yeah.
You know who likes hip hop? Black people.
Yeah.
Right? You know who likes money? The Jews. Like, there's some truth to this kind of stuff like that. You know who likes Jamaican patties? Natties. Okay? So
I love that. That's funny.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Kelly out there. Kelly's from Jersey. And Kelly's the sweetest girl you'll ever meet.
Yes.
And I'm constantly like, how the hell is Kelly from Jersey?
Yeah.
Because Jersey has a stereotype. Hey, get out of here. Get out of my face here. I'm from New York. I'm from New Jersey. Hey, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Hey, go fuck you too. It's like, okay, you can still be a sweet person. It's not like I'm saying all people from New York are hard-headed, fucking loudmouth people. There's exceptions and there's rules.
But my question is, like, why would a Jewish person be offended by that? I feel like that's almost a compliment.
Everybody
in a way.
loves money anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's kind of a compliment. I mean, if I were to hear that, when I hear that, I'm thinking, oh, Jewish people, they know how to handle money. That's especially today. I'm like, I need to know who knows how to handle money correctly. So the Jewish guy in here.
Hey, this guy, save that money, y'all.
Yeah, but I think again, we are also in a time where people are very sensitive.
Yep.
They can find what they want. What do they say? When you look for something, you find it.
Ooh.
And I think if you're looking for something to pin on, like, there's people in the comments right now, they're like, that was controversial. I'm like, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, that was controversial. Like,
this is a big deal.
How? Like, how do we get here?
We're living in a society where everyone has the opportunity and an outlet to complain.
Yes.
By the way, if you pull up the article, you can see some of the tweets. And again, this is coming from a Jewish person who's not easily offended.
Yeah.
Okay? This is coming from a Jewish person who has dealt with anti-Semitism.
Right.
Guys, you know, it's the boy who cried wolf. Maybe there's no comments there. The boy who cried wolf. If you're going to cry over every little comment, don't expect people to come to rush to your defense.
Right.
Where it's like, that wasn't that big of a deal. Now, what Kanye said was a ridiculous big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
What Kanye continued to repeat was absurdity. And by the way, he faced the ramifications for being an absurd person.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what happened. Okay? Nick Fuentes has also said things about Jews. Okay? White nationalists have said things about Jews. Don't try to lump in Joe Rogan, who for the most part is a free thinker. He's a good dude. He's got a good heart. He's got a good message. He's all about self-improvement, much like a Tate situation, and try to label him some sort of misogynist, anti-Semitic, trope wrongdoer.
And he's Jewish.
No, Rogan is not Jewish.
No, he's not Jewish. Oh, okay.
You thought Rogan was Jewish?
I mean,
we'll gladly take him.
I mean, I don't know.
Adam Sandler, you know, we'll take him on the team.
Yeah.
But that's not it. But again, I believe in freedom of speech. It's the same thing we talked about with Tate. You may not agree with what the person has to say, but I will defend your right to say it.
Right.
Okay? You know, there's a fine line between hate speech and basically speech that is encouraging wrongdoings or encouraging
negative violence.
Thank you. That's the word. I'm such an unviolent person that I forgot the word.
Yes.
Thank you, Kelly. R. Kelly in the house. But
Queen.
it's I think it's a little freaking ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
As to what would happen now, allegedly, and I don't think it's happening at all, but allegedly, his $200 million Spotify deal is in jeopardy. Now, I'm using the word allegedly. I don't think it's going to happen. Rogan's got in trouble for COVID stuff.
Right.
He's got in trouble for, quote unquote, being racist, using the N-word out of context. I think this is a small drop of water in the bucket of drama that people are looking for.
Right.
I'm not buying it. But CEO founder of Spotify, his name is Daniel Ek. They're out of Sweden. They're sort of immune for the big technology that's going out here in America. I don't see them canceling Joe Rogan over a comment.
Like
and I'm one Jew saying that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
So my Jewish friends out there that are like, no, any comment out there is you can't say that. It's like, come on, guys.
But my question is, why would his father make that comment that the money's getting to his head?
So thank you for that perfect segue as to the second part of this story. So the father and the father drama, the father is looking for an angle to come after the son. So his dad's message to Joe was, who are you to judge people? Okay. Joe now claims that his father was abusive to his mother, and his mother took him and his sister out of where they grew up, I think on the Northeast, New York, I want to say, to California at a young age, moved him out there, and they've not had a relationship ever since. So there's a lot of backstory that goes here.
That makes sense.
Okay, so Joe has talked about this publicly on the podcast. Joe Rogan Sr. has sent Spotify a legal letter to stop discussing him on the podcast. I don't think there's anything wrong with discussing anything.
Yeah.
Again, freedom of speech. But this is what the father has done. But to me, there's nothing worse than public family drama. There's nothing worse than this. Nobody wants to see their dirty laundry out there for the world to see, especially when it comes to family drama.
Yeah.
Now, I talked about this earlier. Money. I've been in the money game for 17 years. Okay. I was a broke boy. I had to pay my dues and become a millionaire by basically fucking working my ass off, saving my money, being smart with my money. When people are out there buying all sorts of amazing things and lifestyle artifacts, I kept saving and I kept stacking. So I understand how money works. I also understand about content creation and looking for ideas that get clicks, that get views, that get eyeballs. We are in an attention economy. We do get paid on eyeballs. That's kind of how things work.
Right.
The more eyeballs you get, the more attention you get, the more money you can get. Rogan's definitely the leader of the pack when it comes to that. But I also understand what it's like to deal with a father who has not been a, let's just say, positive influence in your life. So Rogan's father was abusive towards his mother. Okay, my father was never hit my mom, never hit my sister. but was very abusive and aggressive towards me. And I've had a very contentious relationship with my father. My father passed away 3 years ago. We've had an up and down relationship. And at the time of his death, we just weren't speaking. Okay, we just weren't speaking. I was like, he's asking me for money. Yeah. He's basically blackmailing me, saying that if you don't give me this, I'm going to tell people this. Lies. We're kind of bringing in everything that's dealing with Tate and Rogan into my sort of story.
Wow.
And it's not a fun feeling to have your stuff out there. And it's not fun for people to lie about you. And it's not fun for your drama to be out there like Rogan's dealing with. So I can't even imagine what he's dealing with the father. Now, what I say is this. At some point, your father won't be here anymore, Rogan. Okay? And you may or may not want a relationship with your father at all. But there is peace of mind and there is comfort. And before your father passes, Joe Rogan, whatever you want to get off your chest, I would highly encourage you to do. The most cathartic moment of my life was giving the eulogy at my father's funeral.
Wow.
It was the most refreshing, sad, but also amazing feeling I've ever had in my life. Okay? Because it was everything that I needed to get off my chest, I did it. And ever since then, and in the Jewish faith, there's no, they have the funeral as soon as possible.
Right.
They don't want the body sitting there for a week or anything like that. I think my father passed away on a Thursday, and by Saturday, where's the funeral? Okay? But for 48 hours, I was fucked up emotionally, mentally, physically.
Yeah.
I just felt this weight. I wasn't even speaking to my father at the time. Again, we were arguing about family dynamics, money. I was giving him money, but I guess it wasn't enough. He told me if I didn't give him more money, he was going to tell people this, and he was going to put it, like he became a crazy person at that point. But when I delivered the eulogy, and there was packed room, probably 100 people at the funeral, friends, family, friends of family. Yeah. People were laughing. People were crying. People were laugh crying. That whole thing.
Yeah.
But that feeling is amazing. And to get that off your chest is amazing. So, Rogan, I don't know if you're going to see this. I don't know if you care about seeing anything like this. I know you're in touch with PBD. At some point, your father's not going to be here. And the last thing you want is to have this hanging over you, this cloud of darkness weighing over you, especially when it comes to your father and when it comes to money. Nothing worse than public family drama. And I hope and I know Rogan will deal with this the right way. So that's my 2 cents.
I love that. I think that's really important that you relieve yourself of that darkness. Because a lot of the time, it's subconsciously, you don't realize that it's affecting you. Yeah. And I think that's the worst, because as much as you try to avoid, like, this is the reason the way I am, that, coming to that understanding and being able to express that, like you said, it's like a breath of fresh air. And, we don't really know the details of their relationship. There's good, bad in every relationship. So I think you are very right when it comes to, relieving yourself of whatever dramas you have with your family. Because at the end of the day, everybody does pass away. And there's nothing like somebody passing away and not giving enough time with them to share how you feel with them. Yeah. So, I wish them the best of luck. I hope they, relieve whatever issues they have and, fix what they have. But hopefully it doesn't go down a deeper hole to where it's like a grudge is being made. And that long-term can affect you, even how you become a father. It could help you, it could hurt you. It's a matter of how you want to, I guess, move accordingly. And if you don't have the right support either, it could really lead you down a dark path. And I think that's how those men come about, is that they come from grudges so that when they have kids, they treat their kids from those grudges. So again, like, it's a peace of mind. I think also when you're coming up, I'm sure he's in a different place than his dad was in their life. And so Joe Rogan is seeing life differently than his dad did, and the same thing with your dad. Your dad lived a different life than you did. And there's different successes on both ends. And I think when you do have a come up and you are making a certain money and you do have certain happiness, I don't want to say take things a little bit more with a grain of salt, but you essentially do that, because at the end of the day, you see that life is much greater than arguments and disagreeing with the other person. So, whatever issues you guys have with people, it's always better to just, finish it, let it be done, and move forward and be mature about it. And hopefully it doesn't affect you in a negative way. So
I'll say one last thing. If I could, and I would say this whether you're dealing with family drama, relationship drama, business drama, I think it's important to ask these 3 words. What? It's 4 words. Sorry to pull a Joe Biden. What do you want? Tell me what you want. Okay? Do you want money? Do you want a conversation? Do you want to have a relationship? Do you want to see your grandkids? Do we want to have any sort of communication? What do you want?
Right.
And to just like, oh, I'm not talking to him, whatever it is, I don't see the benefit in that. So whoever you're dealing with in your life, I would ask those 4 words. So what do you want? Right. It's almost like, what's the movie with Ryan Gosling? What do you want?
Oh, The Notebook.
The Notebook.
I've never watched that movie.
So that's probably the most important question you can ask someone else is, what do you want?
Right.
And let them see what they want. And maybe you can give it to them.
Right.
Listen, it would be no deal for Rogan to cut him $1 million check.
Right.
No big deal whatsoever. It'd be no big deal to have a conversation with him. But if you don't know what the other person wants, how are you supposed to deliver on that? So what do you want? Anyway, let's talk a little bit of money for a second.
Yes.
And you're going to see how I'm going to tie the Tate stuff together, the Rogan stuff together, and your money stuff together right now. So I believe everyone out there, no matter who you are, whether you're working 9 to 5, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're making hundreds of millions of dollars like Joe Rogan, or whether you're Andrew Tate dealing with $100 million, multi-million-dollar lawsuit in jail, you need to have an oh shit fund. And oh shit, I need some money ASAP fund. Now, this in many times is called an emergency fund or a rainy day fund or a cushion or just, money just in case some shit happens. Because here's the deal about shit. It happens.
Yeah.
Okay?
Very true.
So shit happens. So you need to have an oh shit fund. So I've interviewed so many people, save that money, spend that money, save that money, spend that money. And the wealthiest people in the world, the financial advisors, the millionaires, the billionaires, the movers, the shakers, they will all tell you, save that money. You never know what's going to happen. And it's always people that are like, YOLO, you can't take it with you. Spend that shit, what I call a spend that shit mentality.
Yikes.
That when money is needed the most, they don't have it. So like you look at Rogan, at any point, his deal can get dropped. Did he save that money? I think so. Nobody expected all your assets to get seized in Romania, your house, your cars, every single commodity, every asset you have seized. Now you're low on cash. Did you have an emergency fund or an oh shit fund, Mr. Tate? I hope you did. Because when you have that, you give yourself a little breathing room. I believe everybody out there, no matter who you are, you need to be a little bit paranoid. Pat talks about only the paranoid survive.
Right.
He talks about being paranoid, but also being optimistic. Very interesting mix right there. But shit happens. Like I've interviewed people, I'm 100% in crypto, bro. 100%.
Yikes.
That's it. I'm like, you don't keep any cash? Very minimal cash. I'm all in on crypto. It's like, that was 2 years ago. I'd like to see what their bank account is right now. I know somebody's like, listen, I believe in this nightclub that we're building. I live in Miami. I know that this club is going to dominate. We're going to be the #1 club in Miami. I'm putting all my money into it. Well, did you know that 90% of clubs close in the first 5 years?
Yep.
Did you keep a little bit of cash on the side? An oh shit fund? So for you out there, are you keeping an oh shit fund? Now, my guess is because you watch Valuetainment, because you watch Soscast, because you don't understand about saving that money, that you likely have or you are working on it. But most Americans haven't. Here's some stats for you, by the way, as far as understanding how to save that money. Here's a breakdown in almost a third of what's happening in America today. So this is how much money Americans have in their savings account. 1/3 of people, 34% to be exact, got no money. Nothing in the bank. Shit happens. Oh shit, something happened. You got any money? No. Okay. Not a good situation to be in if you're in that third of people when shit happens. Because shit happens.
Yes.
Do you have any money in the bank? Now, I've been very clear about this. There's a difference between being poor and being broke. Poor is, I live in India or Africa or some third world country. I live in Haiti. I have no money. I have no means of making money. Water isn't clean. I'm fighting to survive here. I am poor. I am desolate.
Right.
That is not what we're at in America today. The average American makes $40,000 a year.
Right.
Okay? You might not be rich. You might not be balling, but you're not poor.
Right. You're
broke. Meaning you spend all your money on whether it's housing, whether it's your car, whether it's eating out, whether it's dining out, whether it's having drinks or having fun with friends. You spend all your money and you don't save that money. Now, the other third of people, if we can pull that back up, have less than $1,000 in savings. So the first third ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
You got nothing. The second third, it's like, hey, at least I got a couple $100 to my name, a couple nickels to put together. Still not a fun situation to be in. You know, they say 2/3 of people in America are living paycheck to paycheck. Those are the 2/3 of people right there. If you add that up, okay, that's a little under 70%. 2/3 of people have less than $1,000 or just no money whatsoever. Now, if you actually are saving that money, being smart with your money and being frugal with your money, which is basically smart with your money, not cheap. I don't recommend you being cheap. Okay, but at least be frugal, understand how to spend your money.
Right.
15%, this is the other third, let's say, let's just break it up into thirds. 15% of people have somewhere between $1,000 and $10,000. Now, I would encourage all of you out there, all of you, to save $10,000. Now, some people would say, $10,000? My rent is $5,000 a month. Save $10,000, that doesn't do shit for me. Well, kudos, brother. You're making some money. But for the people out there, the 2/3 of people out there that don't even have $1,000 or don't have any money, less than $1,000, you would love to have $10,000 when shit happens. That's that oh shit fund. Now there's the last category here, which is like half of the 1/3 with $10,000 or more. Now, if you've done that, kudos. Give yourself a round of applause. If you're watching this right now, go ahead, tap yourself on the back right there. Can you go ahead, give me a... Yeah, okay. That's assault, brother. Don't touch me.
Oh, sorry.
Now, if we can go to that other chart, it actually gives you a better breakdown of how money flows here in America. And let's talk about that. So, again, we talked about basically more than half of people not having $1,000. Push it a little bit and scroll down. 12% of people have less than $5,000. 5% of people have less than $10,000, and then you have basically 15% of somewhere north of $10,000. The goal, of course, is to get more than $10,000, more than 50 grand if you can. Now, just so you know, if you're 20 out there, if you're 22 out there, you're 25 out there, it might seem like a daunting task. Go back to that chart for one more time, okay? The other one for a second. By the way, I talked about this before. Red light, yellow light, green light, working your way up from being paycheck to paycheck, in debt, having no money, to actually having some savings, to becoming an investor. Work your way from having $0 to $1,000 to $10,000 to $20,000 to $50,000. You're looking at an example of someone that's done exactly that.
Right.
If you talk to me when I was 25 years old, I did not have $1,000 to my name. Facts.
What age did you?
When I had 1,000?
Yeah.
I told this story before. When I was 27, the most amount of money I ever made in a year prior to that was 20 grand. Ever.
Wow.
In a year. When I was 27 years old, I said, fuck it. I'm moving out of Miami, getting out of nightlife. I'm sick of getting paid in drinks and drink tickets and comedy and laughs and all that. I got a job in Boca, became a cold caller, ate shit for a year, not literally. Okay. That'd have been but cold called. My first year, I made $5 grand. $5 grand. My second year, I made $100,000. It was the coolest thing in the world at that point. 27, 28 years old at that point, just made 100 grand. I was like, oh my God, I'm the coolest kid in the world.
Yeah.
I've told this story before. I went into my ATM. I've never had more than a couple grand in there in my life. There was like 15 grand in my bank account. And I told the story of, like, I got the receipt. I was dating a girl at the time. I dropped the receipt. I was like, hey, you mind picking that up right there? And she's like, oh, 12 grand, 15 grand. I was like, but it's a great feeling. You know this as a guy. I said this before. You walk into a bar, you walk into a restaurant, and you want to be out there. You want to have a good time. You want to meet some people. You want to meet some girls. And you know that you've got 10 grand in the bank. That's some confidence right there. You're going to feel good right there. So work your way. If I could show that chart right there one last time real quick. The other one. Figure out where you're at on this chart. Do you have 1,000? Do you have 2,000? Do you have 5,000? Do you have 10,000? Do you have 20,000? Are you working your way to 50,000? See where you're at and set a goal. Okay? In the next 6 months, I want to save $5,000. In the next year, I want to get to 10 grand, whatever it is. But if you don't have a goal, if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to end up there? You're not just going to like luck out into this type of money. Have a game plan. A budget is a game plan for your money, and figure out a way how to get an emergency fund or an oh shit fund, a just in case fund. Because we all know that the economy isn't exactly certain right now. We've dealt with COVID. There's talks of a recession. We see interest rates out there. Mortgage rates are obviously skyrocketing. They've gone from 3% to 6% in the last 18 months. We've just lost over $2 trillion of equity in our homes. We've lost $1 trillion in the stock market. The future is not guaranteed. Right. Now, what is pretty much guaranteed, especially if you're young and healthy, is that you're going to wake up tomorrow. Now, the choice is, do you want to wake up broke or do you want to wake up with some money in your pocket? Ray Dalio, the famous hedge fund manager, caught heat right before COVID talking about, cash is trash. If you're just saving cash, like you're wasting your time. Put it into something that'll give you a higher ROI. Now, people would say, okay, that's cool if you're a rich person and you're worth millions of dollars. Okay, maybe you don't want to keep cash in the bank. But for regular people out there, I think we all know that that is a joke. Right. Cash is not trash. Cash is king. So save that money. So that's my rant on American savings and having an oh shit fund. And if you're Tate, you better have an oh shit fund on the side. If you're Joe Rogan, I assume you're pretty prudent with your money. God forbid something happens, you get canceled, or God forbid there's some sort of health issue, save that money and make sure you have some money in the bank. And that same goes for them, same goes for you out there. So save that money. Nat, you want to weigh in on anything right now before we change topics? Anything we need to discuss? Any chats? Anything we want to get to?
I mean, I kind of liked your rant. I think that was very self-explanatory. I think especially in times of today with inflation being so high, people can't afford to have risk. People can't afford to get sick. People can't afford a car accident. And it's in those times, those oh shit moments, like you said, that you need that. So I think it's just preparing for the unprepared moments. That is very, very important. And I know it is very hard. It is very hard to save during times like this. But even if it's a little bit that you're putting to the side, it does accumulate and add up. And I'll be honest, all the gentlemen watching, as a woman who is looking for men and women out there looking for men to be with, of course she would want her man to have like that oh shit fund prepared. So just know that's a very, very important feature for your lifestyle, and I think it's a requirement.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
We're going to be addressing your super chats in a little bit throughout the episode. I'm going to give a message at the end about super chats, so stay tuned to that. By the way, thank you for being here live with us on a Friday on the Soscast here at Valuetainment. Cheers to you guys. Now, let's talk a little bit of relationships right now, if we can. Arguably, the most famous divorce, the most famous relationship in the world, certainly over the last year, has been the saga that is Tom Brady and Gisele.
Yes.
And I've been very clear that Tom Brady's going to be okay, and best of luck to Gisele finding the next Tom Brady. I don't think it exists. I know some people say, well, what do you mean? She deserves to be happy, which she does. You don't think Tom Brady's going to be, going to miss her? It's like, we'll see. He's messing with a pretty decent-looking chick these days, allegedly. But let's start with Gisele, and then we'll go to Tom, and then we'll kind of just weave this all in together. So Gisele, if we can go to this article about what she was paid to go to a 3-hour event at the Carnival in Brazil. Okay, the other article. We'll get to that in a second. So this right there, go to the top. So Gisele gets a millionaire payday by attending Brazil's carnival for 3 hours. Okay, allegedly she was paid $2 million for 3 hours. Okay, so that's about $700K an hour. Not a bad deal, Gisele. And I have to admit, if we can go to those pictures, Gisele was looking pretty good.
She was looking great. Look at her abs. She looks phenomenal. Like, okay, she doesn't have Tom Brady anymore and they're not together, but I mean, she's doing her thing. What is she supposed to do? Go live in a disastrous life because she doesn't have Tom Brady anymore. Like, look at her. She's like, call me. I'm getting that money.
Okay. And by the way, by the looks of that, I think many of you would call her. I'll tell you where you would not call her is the other look that she basically graced the cover of Vogue at. You know how they say, Drake says, like, you ain't a model unless you've been on the cover of Vogue?
Yeah.
Well, look at the cover of Vogue that she was just on, if we can push in on that. This, my friends, is not hot. There's nothing sexy about this. This pale, like, makeup skin with the all red, with the red wig, dyed hair.
But it's Vogue.
But she made it on Vogue.
It's Vogue.
Okay. I don't know. Nothing hot about that. But Gisele seems to be doing her thing. Now, Tom, there was a story that actually leaked about Tom Brady and what he's been dealing with. And his old coach and general manager, Bruce Arians, weighed in on this. If we can go to that article, I believe it's from the New York Post. He says, listen, Tom Brady just wasn't himself throughout that final season. Okay? He says that the real Tom Brady just wasn't out there. Will the real Tom Brady please stand up? Shout out to Eminem. But no shit. You're dealing with arguably the most public divorce possibly ever. Okay? In the middle of the season, you're just a year removed from a Super Bowl. Right. You were supposed to retire. You came back. Your wife basically initiated a divorce the second that you came back. Your offensive line sucks. You're getting sacked. You're getting beat up. You don't have a winning record. You make it to the playoffs. You get your shit kicked out of you by the Cowboys. Cowboys don't win games, especially in the playoffs, and you lose. Tom Brady ain't exactly being happy. But let me tell you something out there, ladies and gentlemen. Tom's going to be okay. Tom's going to be okay. I don't know if you know this. He signed a 10-year, $375 million contract with Fox Sports, which is the most lucrative ever in sports broadcasting history. So listen, Tom's going to be okay. Now, by the way, why else he'll be okay? Can we just pull up a picture of the model he allegedly is dating? Veronica Rajic, if we can push in a little bit. Now, Nat, you don't think that she's a very classy woman.
I didn't say that.
I think she's gorgeous.
I didn't say that she wasn't classy. I'm just saying based on all the content that we've been consuming, promiscuous, like she's in underwear, you know? So it's like everybody talks about how, you know, women who are promiscuous and they show too much skin, men, high value men wouldn't want them. I don't know about you, but you've definitely said, and many people have said, Tom Brady is deemed as a high value man. And he's okay. And if he's going for girls like that, why are other men in this space shocked that women are doing things like that? You know, so it's like, yeah, we say one thing, but then you see the high value men pick women like that. And then it's like, okay, well, I can see why women, you know, post the things that they do. But I don't know the girl. I don't know much about her. You know, they could be having a great relationship. But as you can see, he's obviously struggling in many areas. And if you're comparing the two between like Tom and Gisele looks very happy in Brazil making the $1 million that she is. And I feel like Tom is struggling with how his season ended. And yes, he's going into another big deal and so on and so forth. But I think there's areas that, like, I think, what do they say? I think it's like women deal with breakups harder at the beginning and then they get over it, and then men deal with breakups later harder. That's from what I've heard. Yeah. So like when you break up with like a boyfriend or your man, like at first the guy's like, oh whatever, like, you know, it's fine, like it's good, and the girl's like, oh, I'm crying, I miss my man, I love my man. And then as time goes on, you know, women, I guess they find themselves again, and then their happiness comes back, and for men their loneliness comes back. So it's like if you're looking at the two side by side, I could see why Tom would be struggling right now. He didn't have the best season. He didn't win. And I could see why he'd be struggling. And then you see Gisele. And that's another thing is like, okay, yeah, Gisele's happy and all, but like, here's my question. Is media and the world pushing these things on her so that it makes it look like, ladies, you don't need a man, leave your man, you know, you can be happy without a man, the world supports you. So there is a little bit of like, yeah, it's great, but is it because you're getting help to make it look great? You know, that's not your average woman's reality. Like if I broke up with my husband and divorced him, like, am I gonna go be on Vogue? Probably not, because I'm not a model, first off, you know what I mean? But there's pieces to it that, like, as I'm seeing, I'm dissecting, I can see the pros and cons of each. And I think at the end of the day, if you want my speculation and my futuristic, thought, I think they'll come back together.
No.
I think they'll come back together. I think they need some space. They need to do their own thing. I could see them maybe a couple of years down the line, they end up together, or maybe they end up separately and they're happy, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like, you think about it, you have kids together, you know what I mean? He's done with football at this point, so now his attention is free. That was essentially the reason why they got divorced. So I wouldn't be surprised if they came back together and it happened within, should I put money on this? I wouldn't be surprised if they came back together in like 2 years tops. I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
But I mean, everybody has their own opinion. That's just mine.
Look, for someone that, is looking for archetypes of what a model relationship could be, the Super Bowl winning quarterback and the highest grossing model of all time coming together, the GOAT and the GOAT. There's a great story there of being family man and raising your kids. I just don't see it. So let's have a bet, me and you.
Okay.
Friendly wager.
How
much? 1 free Celsius.
Okay.
I do not see them coming back together. Let me know. Put that in the chat.
I wouldn't be surprised, but...
Do you see Tom Brady and Gisele getting back together? Now, what I found to be interesting was who they both are speculated to be dating or ended up with. And this is interesting because you know that women are beauty objects where men are success objects.
Right.
We just talked about on the podcast yesterday being a provider, being a protector, and being present. And I asked one, what is more important about that? And all the women on the panel put protector at the top of the list. Can you defend me? Can you save me from harm? Make me feel good, make me feel safe. I want to have to be able to trust you. So I think it's very interesting who they're both dating. Tom dating that gorgeous girl, Beauty, if we can pull her up again one more time.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
She's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Because he's solving for Beauty, whereas Gisele is dating or banging a jiu-jitsu instructor in Brazil. So talk about a protector. So he's solving for beauty, youth, beauty, gorgeousness, this model, where she's solving for someone that can protect me and make me feel safe. People are coming against me. People are talking shit. So she runs to some guy that's obviously not wealthy. He's a jiu-jitsu instructor, okay? He's not exactly the provider type. She doesn't need a provider. She's got the money. But something tells me that he's playing the protective role, and he's at least being present for her. If there's one thing that I've learned since doing the Soscast and these 3 Ps, being provider, being a protector, being present, which of those 3 do you think Tom was lacking in?
Definitely being the protector.
No.
Why?
I think he wasn't present.
Oh.
I think he can provide. All good. He's got money. Protector. He's a big, good-looking football player, family man, all good. But he wasn't present. She didn't feel seen. Now, again, this is something that I've struggled with. Of these 3 Ps that I talk about, as a man, being a provider, having wealth, being a leader, being a protector, looking good, right, projecting strength, being fit, and being present for your woman, basically spending quality time, understanding that women are emotional creatures where men are more logical. I'm very good at being a provider. I understand that. I pay for my girl, take her on dates, all that, all good, pay the bills, no problem with that. Being a protector, being chivalrous, being a gentleman, making them feel safe, whether that's opening doors, pulling out chairs, defending any drama. What I've struggled is being present, putting down my phone, tapping into emotions. But I feel like a lot of guys struggle with that. And Tom, if you ask me, that's where he lacked in his relationship with Gisele.
I think a lot of high-value men and men who make a lot of money and men who spend a lot of time at work lack in the present sense. But it makes sense, though. Like, how do you expect them to be present, work, and bring home the money and do all these things, and then come home and be like, babe, how was your day? How are you feeling? Like, I think Jamie Lee had said something very important yesterday in the podcast. Or no, it was Brody. She said that, if you're not able to, how her family was like, her mom said it was a protector was important, then it was presence, and then it was the provider. Yeah. And I think that's very, very key, because if being a provider was at the top, that relationship wouldn't have worked. So I think a matter of understanding what you want from a man is very important before you go into the relationship. Dating a man like Tom Brady, you have to understand he's probably not going to be present all the time. Like, let's be honest. The guy has a lot on his plate. He's working hard. He's leading a team. He's putting in the work. Like, to expect him to be present all the time is really unrealistic.
Totally agree.
And maybe she was in a point where, for her, that's when presence became important, and that's why she left that relationship. She wanted to go find a man who maybe wasn't so high value, but he was able to give her that presence. Yeah. So, you know, I'm sure there's more things added to why they left each other and what went wrong. But I think at the end of the day, I think out of your 3 Ps, I think it's important to understand what is most important to you before you get into relationships.
Yeah, I great point by Nat, by the way. Kudos to you on that. Because, yeah, arguably he wasn't present. I mean, he's playing football. He's out there. He's not exactly home raising the kids. But here's what I will say. You knew what you signed up for when you walked in the door, Gisele. You knew who Tom Brady was. He'd already won multiple Super Bowls. He was already league MVP by the time that you showed up. So don't expect him to be present all the time. Now, what I will say, whether you're a businessman, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a CEO, whether you're just an entrepreneur, whether you're just home working and you're just trying to pay the bills, you need to set those expectations up front and say, hey, listen, I'm not going to be that dude who's home at 5 o'clock for dinner. I'm not going to be that guy. But when I am home, I'm going to pay attention to you.
Right. I agree. But you also have to keep in mind this is celebrity dating celebrities. This is not like your girl walking around the corner and you meet this guy out and you guys start dating and it's a regular relationship. Like, I think also in celebrity world, you're almost pushed to date like people who are equivalent to your status. And sometimes I think when you're pushed upon that, the pieces of a relationship kind of gets pushed to the side. So it's like, oh, I'm going to date this guy because, you know, the world thinks that we would be a great couple. I actually like this guy. He's a great guy. You forget to think about your Ps, your 3 Ps. You forget to think about what's important because essentially around you, the world supports the relationship, but you kind of get fogged up of like, is this really what I want? You know, because now look at them. Now they're looking for 2 different things in their life at this point. So it's like, were you dating because the world made it seem like, oh, it's ideal. The top model in the world is going to date the best football player in the world, quarterback, make it like it looks like the perfect relationship. But at the end of the day, when you have 2 people who are at top scales, then you start to compete. And I think that's where that started going separate. And it's like, you look at them now, they look happy now. You know, you look, Gisele looks happy and she was dancing in Brazil. Sons of Biddies are dancing. You know, I think Tom Brady's going through his phase right now where he's had to let go. He's retired. You know, I think he's in a search of new happiness. And I think that's going to take time. I think the world has to be patient with that. And at the end of the day, you know, their lives are for everyone to see. They don't get to deal with anything in private. So I think just being patient, be gracious, and, you know, let them live their life. You know, be cautious of your opinions when it comes to celebrities because you don't know what it's like to live your life in the eye of the public. Imagine going out every day. Anything that you do is broadcasted.
Yep. You
can't like shed a tear. Like you can't wear your hair in a bun and look a mess to go to the store for a second to go get a juice or something. So just be mindful of those things is that sometimes like the media does control a lot of your relationships in life and your decisions.
Nat, you are on fire today.
Thanks. We're on fire.
I appreciate that. I don't know. I feel like today you're on fire.
Thanks.
By the way, do you have that office creep video? I maybe want to cover that. But
I do have that.
Anyway, we got about a half hour left. I appreciate you guys being here on the Soscast today on the Friday version of what we're doing. We've addressed a couple different things already. We've talked about Tate. We've talked about Rogan. We've talked about Tom Brady. We've talked about saving that money. We've talked about Jorge dealing with the audio. We know about all this kind of stuff like that. So we're having a good time here. Here's where I want to go to now. No matter how much money you got, no matter how much fame you got, no matter how much success you have, no many followers you have, you can't win it all. You can't have it all.
Yeah.
And our friend Gary Vee is proving that. This might be controversial, but I think Gary Vee is a mess right now.
Uh-oh.
I think Gary Vee is an absolute mess. I want to show this video of Gary Vee playing basketball, and you let me know your opinion on what's going on with Gary Vee. Let's play that with some audio.
Clip that. Clip that. I need that on my Instagram. That was a fact. Dustin, I'm putting that on my Instagram. What a terrible shot. Worst shot of the day. That was the worst shot of the day. Clip that. Clip that. I need that on my Instagram. That was a fact. Dustin, I'm putting that on my Instagram.
Okay. Dude.
Wait.
Okay. By the way, this is what this reminded me of. Just Google this real quick. Google Bill Murray Kingpin. Okay? This is the first thing that came to mind when I saw Gary Vee with his hair all over the place, balding, like complaining, being argumentative, talking shit. Look at these videos. This was Bill Murray in the movie Kingpin.
Can't see your
half balding, hair out of control. Can we just pick a picture and scroll in on it?
Right there.
There it was right there. There, Kelly, go down one. Down one more. Down one more.
Yes.
Boom, right there.
Yeah.
Gary Vee, at some point, just cut it off, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. My biggest fear.
Transplant.
My biggest fear in life is that whole situation. It's not getting eaten by a shark.
You're doing good.
Okay?
You're doing good.
It's not skydiving. It's not getting hit by traffic. It's that you're losing half your lid, and then you don't know whether to do a comb it over, shave it all off. I don't know. But I know that Gary Vee has got a lot of fans out there. He's well deserved all the success that he has. But in the looks department, clean it up a little bit, Gary.
Right, but you have to understand he is kind of like a dork. And when you're
Gary's
like,
a dork?
Yeah, like a little bit. Like when he's like, guys, this is bullshit. Like you kind of like almost expect that aspect to be a little bit on the lower end because, you know, he's more on the I'm giving value. It doesn't matter what the fuck you look like. Like you're the man, bro. Like just get your shit done. Like, so I think he's coming from a like, you know, he came up not based on his looks.
No, that's for sure.
So he came up based on the things that he was able to teach. So now he's getting older and now looks are being like, hey, bro, clean it up. Especially today with all this content, like, you know, be in shape, take care of yourself, gentlemen. Like now those things are becoming more relevant. So now you see Gary Vee, but he's always been like this. Like this is not shocking behavior that he looks the way he looks.
That he looks like Bill Murray from Kingpin.
Exactly.
Now, people, listen. Okay, two things can be true at once. You can be successful. You can be an innovator. You can put yourself out there. You can be a motivator. You can be a leader. You can create companies. You can create content. You can have a lot of followers. You can do a lot of amazing things like Gary Vee. But at the same time, you can be a mess.
Right.
Okay? And I don't know. Can we show that video just one more time? You guys let me know. Is this a good look for Gary?
No,
he put this on his own Instagram. Where's the volume?
What a terrible shot. Worst shot of the day. That was the worst shot of the day. Clip that. Clip that.
Clip that, Gary.
That was a Justin, I'm putting that on my Instagram.
So,
but props to him. He looks like he's working hard. I'm like, I would be like, you go, babe. You get him. Like, what are you supposed to do? At least he's not staying there being like, oh, like he can't catch the ball or he's not working. The worst for him to have a clip and he's playing basketball and he's doing like nothing. And you're like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing?
Yeah, he could have been the guy that missed the layup. What a loser that guy was.
Right? At least he's working.
Let me tell you something. Here's what I just realized. Gary Vee wants to put that guy down so bad that he's willing to look like an absolute mess from Bill Murray on Kingpin with your hair out of control, balding, just looking like an absolute disheveled mess just to put on his Instagram his buddy missing a layup.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That's like when I will pretend to be Mario's boyfriend to throw myself under the bus to look gay just so Mario looks gay.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Teamwork. It's team. It's a teamwork.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yes.
I'm just saying. Like, that's how much Gary hates his buddy. He's like, I'm going to put this on my Instagram of me looking like an absolute mess. Bill Murray, Kingpin, all out there just to show everybody that you can't make a fucking layup, buddy.
Well, I think it shows
That's some salty ass shit right there.
Yeah, that is. But at least he's like confident. I mean, for you to do that, you got to be confident in something. If it's like you being the defender, you looking good, like you have to be real confident to post something like that for you to like let the world see and judge you.
Well, thank you for highlighting that. Gary Vee, if he's anything, is confident.
Yes.
Because if I was doing all that and I looked like all that and I had all that going on, do me a favor, delete that post immediately.
Yeah.
Don't show that to the world.
It was a game
so
over.
Respect to you, Gary, for at least having the balls and the confidence to put what is the worst I've ever seen you look straight there on Instagram. If you don't believe me, it's on his Instagram. That's where we got it.
Yes.
Again, I might catch some heat from this from talking shit about Gary. Two things can be true at once.
Yes.
You can be successful and cool and great and clout and all that, but you can also look like a freaking mess.
Right.
Okay. Again, I'm not the biggest Gary Vee fan, but I know a lot of people that are. I'm not being a hater.
Right.
I'm giving him his respect. but I'm also saying you kind of got to pick a path.
Yeah.
Maybe shave the head, maybe grow a beard. I don't know.
Yeah, just help
clean
him
it up a little bit,
with
Gary.
the look side of things. He's never had a strength in that area, so this is not like shocking. But no, let's be honest. He's never been like, oh, Gary Vee's so hot. It's more like, wow, I love the things he says. He's inspiring me. He's giving me good value. I want to take this information and do better for myself. It's not like, oh, you know, he's got that style and the way he looks and his hair. Like that's never been his persona.
By the way, it almost seems like you're defending Gary and I'm shitting on Gary. Low key, you're trying Gary way harder than me. You're like, we all know that nobody liked Gary.
Gary, we love you.
We all know that nobody respected Gary's looks. We all know that he's been a geek. We all know that he's not attractive.
But you can't say
but
we
you
don't
gotta
love
give
that.
him credit.
You love that about him. That's his brand, though. That's him. It's like, it doesn't matter what you look like, dude. Like, just get it done. Like, I respect that. Get your stuff done.
I'm here to
know?
tell you the exact opposite. It does matter what you look like.
It does matter. It does matter for sure, especially today. But just know, like,
I don't know. You guys tell me in the comment. Do a poll. Is this a good look for Gary? Do you respect him for putting this out there, or are you like, nah, Gary, you probably want to delete that, homie? I think it's a bad look.
It's
Again,
not the
that's
best
just me
look.
dealing with my fear
Yeah.
of maybe losing a little bit.
You know, that's a lot of men's fear is their hair loss.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
Some men can pull it off.
Yeah, you can be like Tate.
We got Sergeant Eric Galera out there with his huge ass arms. Good looking guy.
Yeah.
No hair though.
It's okay.
Clip that, send that to Eric. Thanks, buddy.
Love you,
All right,
Eric.
moving on. Gary, appreciate what you do. Figure out what you're doing with your hair. You can't be going around looking like Bill Murray and Kingpin. That's not a good look for you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's talk about what Stephen A. Smith had to talk about gold diggers in Miami.
Oh.
He was on our good friend Andrew Schultz's podcast recently, and he talked about getting set up when he came to Miami by some gold diggers here in Miami.
Yikes.
Stephen A., open up the door. Abierto la puerta. Play this clip and see what Stephen A. is talking about when it comes to gold diggers. What's up with the volume?
Personally,
Start it over again?
Yep.
They tried throwing ladies your way.
Me personally, I think so. There have been several cities.
Miami.
One time it was, yes, Mike. During the finals one year, it was during the playoffs another year. Going to the front desk, finding what room I'm in.
Wow.
I gotta change the name on my hotel room.
There were girls knocking on your hotel?
Knocking on the hotel door. No, but it was like, but again, I'm looking at them.
Through the people you're looking?
I open the door. I said,
He's a gentleman at the end of the day. I'm a gentleman.
This is too much. I ain't one of these superstar players. Oh, hell no. I smelt the setup. What will stop me in my tracks real quick is when I think somebody trying to mess with my money. Get your ass in your hotel room, close that door, refrain, chill out.
They are the pussy.
Okay, thank you for that. By the way, some of the you can feel how much fun they're having on the Schultz podcast. Like you can feel how much fun we have on PBD podcast. Hopefully you can feel how much fun we have here on the Soscast. Yesterday's episode was amazing here.
Yes.
There's something just fun about just sitting there chopping it up and being real. I think that's why people love podcasts so much.
Right.
I got to give Stephen A. Smith some credit. You know, they talk about the power of no, saying no, not being a simp, not basically succumbing to your desires and just saying no. And understanding that, hey, when you're successful, people are going to try to come after you and try to sleep with you for the wrong freaking reasons. And Stephen A. Smith basically saying, I felt this is a setup. You're coming after my money. You're going to try to pull the old Drake condom situation, try to impregnate yourself. Stephen A. Smith probably makes $10 million a year. He's the #1 commentator on sports in the world right now. So he's got a voice, and he ain't trying to get caught up in that drama. That is the power of no. So I felt it. I felt it was a little ironic that he's like, so what city was this in? Miami, or Miami? Yeah, it was Miami.
Yes.
Okay.
It's expected down in Miami, though.
Yes.
Like, that's what the city is known. Sorry. Not really. I mean, it's not shocking in that city that there's
Message to you men out there. Utilize that 2-letter word as much as possible and be very selective and very cautious with who you're hanging out with, who you're sleeping with, who you're entering business deals with, who you're entering arrangements with, who you affiliate yourself with. It's cool to say yes to certain things, but it's even cooler to say no to certain things. And I think that is a test of a man, is the ability to say, oh, this sexy woman's trying to sleep with me. No. Oh, here's an opportunity to make some quick money. No. Oh, here's an opportunity to do something that might be shady, might be some gray area. Could this be good? Could this be bad? No. So respect to Stephen A. Smith for saying no to the power of the that's knocking on his door in Miami. Because you know those women are out to get you. So respect to you for saying no.
I like no.
You like no?
I think no is a short, strong word. It's a short, strong word. I think that shows that's like you said, discipline. I think that I find that very attractive when a man can say no to temptation. That is super, super attractive. I'm like, wow, you're mentally strong to say no to that. And I don't know, I respect them more. You know, especially when you become a high value man and you have so many opportunities and you have so many ladies and you have essentially all the things that you want in the world. For you to say no, it's like, wow, you find more value in yourself to, let in these tempting offers to kind of steer you off gear. So that was a good word.
We talked about, I'm a big fan of the acronym that Coach Greg Adams talks about. Your meat, you got to protect your meat as a man, your money, your energy, your attention and your time, and women are coming after that. It's not just women. It could be people in business. It could be family. It can be friends. This is very important to deal with. But saying no, I'm not giving you any money. No, I'm not exerting any energy to that drama. No, I'm not paying you any freaking attention. No, you are not stealing my time. I'm going to say no to all that. So I think for a man, the power of no is very important, especially the more success you have and the more the status you have and the more bigger of an identity you have, being able to say no thank you is a very gentlemanly quality to do.
Yes.
So Nat,
it'll save you from some bad deals too.
Oh yeah. All right, moving right along. Have you seen what's going on with Madonna these days?
I try not to look at her. She's
really?
a little unappetizing.
Unappetizing.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that, but she is very unappetizing.
A little appetizing.
Yeah.
So Madonna, by the way, she's, I think, 64 years old. She's about to be officially a senior citizen. Senior citizenry, I believe, starts at 65. It could be even 62 at this point. Citizenry, right? It's kind of like, what was the word that you used last week? What was your famous word?
Satisfaction.
I'm trying to look for some satisfaction over here. I can't
My
get
brain was
no
too fast.
satisfaction. So Madonna is 64 years young, and she shows off her quote-unquote, air quotes, cute face after swelling from face surgery went down. So if you scroll down, here's some images of Madonna and the weird look that's going on. Keep it on that video, sorry.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think she's trying to do this stuff to stay relevant?
Yes, I think that's exactly what she's doing.
Okay,
now
good.
Pull up that picture. If you scroll down here, here's a better look at what's going on with Madonna's face. That's a little, it's not so bad. But the next one scroll in on that a little bit. Okay, Madonna is she's officially starting to look like an alien.
Yeah.
It's happening.
But she's trying to compete with the women today. That's
exactly.
What do you expect? When you start getting older, you start putting more stuff in your face, you become stiff face. And at that point, it's not really so much you can do at that point, And then you're competing with girls who are younger and their beauty is coming to their peak. And, so it's what would her other option be? Let her wrinkles go down and her lines,
Listen,
how does she win?
Listen, you don't have to become an alien to look your best. I get it. You want to get a little Botox. You want to look your best. You want to do some lips. Okay, cool. I get it. The problem is what precedent is it setting? I see girls in their 20s these days, 20s, doing all sorts of stuff with their face.
Yeah.
If you're a pretty girl, just be a pretty girl.
Yeah.
You don't be fucking up your face. Like, if you look at Kylie Jenner, what's going on there? Right now, she's young. How old is Kylie Jenner? 25?
20-something.
Whatever she is.
24.
What's she going to look like when she's 35, when she's 40? I think it's going to get real kind of weird looking. She's 25. We nailed it on the head. But it's these perpetuating this look. So whether it's Kylie Jenner, whether it's Madonna, you're encouraging women to fuck with their faces. Now, I'm all okay with doing some stuff here, doing stuff here. If you want to do stuff below the neck, go for it. But when you start fucking with your face, this is not a good look.
But do you think it's even a worse look because she's behaving the way she's behaving? If she wasn't like being how she's like all that tongue and that sexual and all that stuff, and she looked like that, do you think it would be more of like as viral as it is today?
I think it's
so.
I think it's just a culmination of the look, the notoriety, the clout, the trying to stay relevant. Like, she was at the Grammys. This is not a good look for you.
Right.
Listen, you're not 25 anymore, Madonna. You're not 35 anymore. You're not even 50 anymore. You're 65. I'm not saying you need to be an old lady. You need to be knitting.
Right.
But there's a fine line between being a mature, classy, older woman and being a alien-looking woman.
Yeah.
That's not a good look.
Right.
Okay? Embrace your femininity. Embrace your beauty. Okay? You don't need to go down to explore Mars with Elon Musk with your face.
The aliens here. Hey, friend.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey, friend. Hey, friend. Madonna's like, hey.
So, but back to Rogan. Rogan is actually, who I agree with on this, he's been called a misogynist for basically what he had to say about Madonna's plastic face. So go to that article of what happened with him. He says basically if Sylvester Stallone showed up looking like that, or fill in the blank, any famous celebrity male looking like that, he would be called, no one would bat an eye about that. But because he's talking about Madonna, he's talking about, he's being called a misogynist. Now, is it, in my opinion, is he being a misogynist? Is he being an ageist? Is because it's her age and he's talking about her? Or is he just kind of stating the obvious here?
I think he's just stating the obvious.
Shakira once said that your hips don't lie, but also your eyes don't lie. You're looking at Madonna, you're like, this is not a good look for you, Madge. I don't know about all that. Not a good look.
Yeah.
So, by the way, look, did I send you a link of men?
Yes.
Who look this way?
Yes.
Okay, men do this too.
There is.
And by the way, I would call out a man if he looked like a freaking alien as well. This has nothing to do. It's fine. We don't need to pull it up if you don't have it.
There it is.
Okay, so gotcha. Guys do some work. That's fine. Here's some celebrities that have done some work to their face. Clint Eastwood, Kirk Douglas.
They look better.
Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
Okay. Even Zac Efron has done some stuff. Okay. But here's the difference. These people don't look like freaking aliens.
Correct. But the thing about it with men is that it's supposed to look like very, very subtle. With women are like the perfectionists. I need to make sure my cheeks are perfectly even. I got to make sure my eyebrows are perfectly high enough. My eyes, like, women are competing with other women, and I think that competition is different than men. Men aren't so much like, oh bro, like I don't have any lines on my forehead. They're more like, I make more money, I have a better business. Their things that they're competing with is not looks. So women, I think you see more of them go to the extreme because looks is what they use to compete.
Yeah, and that's okay. I think working on your looks is a good thing. But at what point does it become a problem when you're no longer human looking? That's what I think the situation is here. And I think what Rogan was talking about is he's not being an ageist. He's not being a misogynist. He's not being a sexist. He's basically saying, hey, this isn't a good look for you, Madonna.
Yeah.
At all. Help. So I'll tell you what. So do you familiar with the actress Jennifer Love Hewitt? I would probably say she's in her mid-40s. She used to be in all those movies like... I Know What You Did Last Summer, kind of those 90s type movies.
Yeah.
So here's a woman who I believe is not fucking with her face and is aging kind of gracefully, but she has basically said, listen, aging is weird. When she was hot and young, she was the talk of the town. Now she's in her mid-40s, I believe, and she's basically saying, listen, aging is kind of weird. Now what I would recommend is take a lesson. Let's see that article. Take a lesson out of Madonna's book and don't do what she did.
Yeah.
Okay, and I get it. She's 20 years older than you. Madonna versus Jennifer Love Hewitt. But scroll down a little bit. You can see some of the images of her. Okay, little selfie right there. Yeah. All good. Keep it moving. All good. She's there with her husband, loving life. All right. Natural.
Yeah.
She's not doing weird stuff to her face.
Right.
She's basically saying, hey, listen, I'm not young anymore. I get it. I'm embracing my natural femininity. So listen, there's guys out there basically like, what the hell does this have to do with me? If you know women in your life that are fucking with their face, talk to them and just say, you're beautiful as is. Please, here's a picture of Madonna. Don't do this. Okay? Mom, grandma, auntie, girlfriend, sister, don't mess with your face. It's not a good look for you.
But I think that's also very hard because once you do something to your face or even your body and the thing that you do comes out perfect, you start looking at your other things that don't look perfect. And then by default, you start to, I got to fix this, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to change my hair, and then you end up looking like Madonna. I don't think women's goal is to look like how Madonna looks. I just think that's the outcome if they don't hold off on moving so quickly when it comes to like surgeries and doing those things. So
you're also talking about Madonna, whose entire career is about her talent and her performance and everything. Everyone lusting after her, admiring her for her looks, her body. Sex was her whole shtick with her life. And that was all imposed on her, and she owned that and she worked that. So you're asking this woman who's had this be her whole entire life, and she's still trying to fit that mold. She's still trying to own her own thing, and it's not like she could kind of undo it.
Yeah.
So she's been put in a very tough spot. So if she looks like an alien, she looks like an alien, but she's trying to keep her identity, I think, by having these surgeries.
Kelly, I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
And now here's my point/counterpoint. If your entire brand, so the women out there, to the women that their entire brand is the sexualization of themselves, and you're bringing nothing else to the marketplace but being a hot chick and sexualizing yourself, okay? When your sex appeal wanes and you don't look as good as you used to, and your entire brand is tied to being hot or being sexy, and you no longer have that, what else are you bringing to the marketplace? What else are you bringing to the sexual marketplace? Is it your thoughts? Is it your business acumen? Is it your insight? Is it your ideology? Or was it just only about your sex appeal? And now that that's gone, you're like, all right, nothing left for me to do but just become an alien-looking lady. So that's my final take on that. You want to push back?
She's still performing. She was just at the Grammys. Like she's still trying to be who she was before. This is for herself. She's trying to fit in the ageism and sexism of Hollywood. Like, I don't blame her for...
I'm not even... So we're using Madonna as a metaphor for other women. I get it. Madonna's going to perform like a virgin. Right. I get it. Vogue, do the whole deal, okay? Live in La Isla Bonita, the whole deal. Okay? You don't remember that song? No. But there's women out there, young women out there...
That is a good point.
Their entire identity is wrapped around how they look. And at some point, your looks are going to fade. And are you going to bring anything else to the marketplace other than being sexy? Because if that's all you got, look at your future.
Yikes.
Yeah. Good point. Good point.
Elon Musk is going to be trying to send you on a spaceship somewhere. Okay.
I know exactly the lady to send.
Madonna, I need you to go conquer Mars. By the way, do we want to play that clip that Natalya made an appearance in? Speaking of creeps, or can we just wrap up right now?
We wrap up.
Okay, let's wrap up. How are we looking over there?
Good. Do you want me to?
Yeah. We got any chats or anything we need to address?
Yes, I can read the chats. Actually, what are we wrapping up with? Because I'll read the chats, I guess, right before.
Go ahead.
Okay. Let me pull them up.
So it is Friday. We're wrapping up here. It's almost 6 o'clock on the Eastern time zone. I got a hot date tonight. You ladies, you're more than welcome to join me out there. I gotta get going over here. But before we do, let's address some super chats and some super chat drama that has basically come into our life.
Perfect.
So go ahead.
So let me read these. Okay, so we'll start off here. We'll start backwards onto the beginning super chat. So we've got Uncle Luke, 1980s. Hey, Uncle Luke, we see you. We appreciate you. He said, why doesn't these old hosts just know when to call it quits? Madonna's one step away from being admitted to a long-term care facility and still acting wild. Damn, Uncle
Shout out
Luke.
to the LTC community out there, long-term care.
Then we have a ringside reporter live. Let's see if Tom stays with her. She may be a smash or pass. Who knows? Who knows? And then Big Boy 702 has been throwing a lot of hate in the chat, but I'll read your chat. Don't worry. He said, Nat, just get some help. Have you seen that meme where it's like, Nat? No, it's like, it goes, stop it. Get some help.
Stop it. Yeah.
So we have him, and then we have a Blue Baggins. Natalya thinks Instagram is real life. Definitely not. I don't think that. Then we have this one, CP the artist. What advice do you have for visual artists in the economy, and where can I buy this shirt Adam has on? Ooh, merch. You can find it on vtmerch.com. That's our premium collection, looking fresh. Shout out to the merch team. That's where you can find the shirt. And then do you have any advice for visual artists in the economy? Nope. No idea. Okay. Then we have Big Boy 702 with the hate comment, but I'll read it for you. He said, Nana's example how women are done for in the West, and please get someone like MLD. Just get the hoe out of there. Okay.
What is that supposed to mean? We've had MLD on the podcast. Shout out to MLD. It's all good.
It's all good in this head. We're good. And then we got Beaten Cheeks. Beaten Cheeks back in the chat. I love seeing Beaten Cheeks in the chat. He said, I have had my dirty laundry put out as a recent last month, and it is why I had to leave my day job for my real estate investments. Continue on to the next super chat. Hi, Nat. Hey, Beaten Cheeks. Then he said, hey, Beaten Cheeks. I like how he says hi to me, like specifically, hi, Nat. I'm like, hi, Beaten Cheeks. Then he says, cancel culture and sensitive people are ruining lives because you have coworkers disagree on your professional views so that they get personal where it hurts the most, your financial livelihood. Then we have Nick Evans. Nat, you fine AF. Brown skin is in. Thank you.
Oh, she be working.
Then we have Salsa Dude showing some support for the Soscast. Happy Friday, everyone. We appreciate you. Aww. And then let me just check and make sure we don't have any new chats. Oh, we've got one more. Uncle Luke, last chat we have, and then we can address the last topic. I can only imagine what kind of patient Madonna is going to be when she's in a nursing home. She's going to be one of those patients who constantly falls out of bed. I don't know about that.
Or does she climb into bed with some random people?
Bed.
There it is.
Good answer. I like that.
Okay.
And that's it for Super Chats. Thank you all for the Super Chats. We appreciate them. You know, we do acknowledge them. And if we don't acknowledge them, you know, the chat gets to see it and you guys get to respond to it. So we appreciate it. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel, Valuetainment Money. And let's move on to our last topic for Friday.
Yeah. Well, thank you for reading the Super Chats. Kelly,
yes.
Thank you for everything you're doing. I want to basically take a second to address some drama that we've had here indirectly.
Yes.
It was actually a drama that I wasn't fully even aware of.
Yeah.
And I kind of got brought into it. People were like, hey, are you going to respond to what's happening? I'm like, what's happening? Well, you didn't do this. Nat didn't read Super Chats. I'm like, I wasn't even aware. Mm-hmm. So, of course, if you watch Soscast, you know that we were referring to our old friend, Rolo Tomassi. Now, Rolo is someone that I've done a ton of content with and actually genuinely respect. I don't have hate towards Rolo. I don't have drama towards Rolo. Yeah. If anything, Rolo likes to create drama is what I've realized, okay? And if there's anything that I'm not trying to be a part of, it's red pill drama. Yep. So this is something that wasn't really even going to address, but when I see Rolo doing episodes or segments, not only talking shit about me, talking shit about PBD, but more importantly, the Valuetainment brand, I'm not going to play for that. So let me just address what happened, or at least what I think perceived as happening. Yeah. And then we can do that. So we had a guy on a couple weeks ago, this guy, John Anthony. He came on. He's claimed to slept with 1,500 people. This is someone that was booked months in advance. Yes. We have an entire booking strategy out here. It's not like I'm looking to curate people that are coming to bring drama. This is someone that was booked well in advance. And, you know, I don't ask anyone's permission. Can I bring this person on? Right. Should I bring this person on? If anything, I'm here to have completely different voices, completely different opinions, So you can formulate who you agree with and who you disagree with. All good. I've hosted debates with our friend Rolo versus other people. All good. Let you decide who the winner is. Again, I respect what Rolo's doing. But here's the problem I have. So Rolo, I guess, has a problem with this guy, John Anthony. When I tell you I had no clue that they had drama, I had no idea. Now, is it on me to do my research? Yeah, it's on me to do research on the subject that I'm interviewing.
Right.
But I don't know every single thing that happened, especially, wait for it, something that happened years ago or 10 years ago. That's not my job. I'm not an investigative reporter.
Right.
I host a show. So whatever happened with Rolo and this guy John, it is what it is. It has nothing to do with me.
Right.
Now, what does have to do with me is when you start making comments in the chat and you chose not to read them.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
You didn't clear it with me.
Right.
I wasn't like, no, don't read his chats.
Right.
I think Rolo contributed what? Like
I think it was like $60.
$60?
$50, yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to ruin a show or you're not going to ruin a show or have someone be completely uncomfortable for $60. For $600, okay? You chose to refrain from reading it for whatever the reason was.
Right.
Okay? I mean, it's just something...
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I feel like when we have a panel on, it's supposed to, we want it to be a place where people can come and feel comfortable and express their point of view. And whatever drama you have with whoever we have on, that's between you and that person. And I hold value in having a platform. Like, we've had so many people come on and say, thank you for making me feel comfortable where I can speak my truth. And I hold that to such a high standard. And, you know, you paid for the super chats. The chat can see your super chat, you know? For me to sit here and read whatever your issue is with him, and then I'm reading it very confused on like what's going on, that's whatever issue you have with that gentleman. And if you want to address that on your channel and, you know, share that story, you're more than welcome to do so. That's the beautiful thing about freedom of speech. But, you know, we have this platform where we want to allow people with different opinions, people who are canceled, people who don't have a voice to have a voice. Like, look at Tate. Tate has been canceled, shot down, and all this stuff, and whatever his stuff is in the closet, and okay, he hasn't done the same thing that maybe this guy has done, whatever it is. At the end of the day, it's having the ability to have a platform where people can come and speak their truth. And hey, you know, if you want to come on and you want to do a debate and you want to have a conversation, we love that. We want to have that. But for us to come and for me to read chats where I'm reading it about someone's past and whatever beef you have with them, like, I'm not here to relieve your beef. That's for you to do, you know? So, and here as a brand, we don't come in, okay, let's bring these people on so that we can get, you know, people mad. And like, I had no idea about the drama until I started reading the chats. And you could probably see in the episode, I'm like, I'm not sure, because it made me uncomfortable. It literally physically made me uncomfortable that I'm reading drama between you and this gentleman. And it's like, as much as we're like, you know, men don't have emotion and men don't have this, it's like, it was the highest level of emotion I've seen like these gentlemen have. And it's like, why do we have to be brought into whatever issue you guys have? Yep. And, you know, we respect you guys, you know, whatever your content is, you guys do your thing. You know, we've done content with you, Rolo. Like, there's no beef between us and you. Like, we literally have no beef with you and your brand and what you do. If anything, we give you props. Even to this day, it's like we quote something, we're like, shout out to Rolo. Like, there's no beef between us and you. And if you want to curate the beef and cause something between us and you, like, that's on you, bro. Like, you are more than welcome to do so, but we're not going to sit here and jump on the bandwagon like, oh, forget you, Rolo. Like, you suck. Like, that's not what we're here for. No. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we want to represent. And we want to continue to hold that respect of having having guests come on and be able to speak their truth. Yeah. So
well said.
Thanks.
So let me just wrap up with this, because, you know, this was something that, again, I wasn't even aware of with the super chats. Nat reads the super chats every single episode. This is not my beef. If anything, I've had a very good, respectful relationship with Rolo.
Yeah.
To this day, I still don't have beef with Rolo.
Right.
He chose to start this. So let me address 3 very specific things, just so we're all clear. Rolo went on there and he was basically saying, fuck Adam this. Dude, all good. If you have a problem with me, you can text me. I've texted Rolo multiple times. Hey, man, we good? Hey, man, what's the problem? Hey, I hear you're talking shit. Can we talk? No response. You chose to air out your drama on Super Chats and on YouTube. In my opinion, just text me, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not here to disrespect you. I've made my money. I've built my brand on building relationships. Okay? I've made a ton of money in the business world by appreciating and respecting people and wait for it, not burning bridges and ruining relationships. Rewind that. Not burning bridges and ruining relationships. There's no point to it. It's a small community. Whether you're in the YouTube space, the red pill space, financial space, investment space, we all work together.
Right.
Okay, I pride myself in being a unbiased, an arbiter of conversation, not here to pick sides. If you've got beef with this guy, deal with it yourselves. I'm not getting involved in the drama. Right. So if you want to come after me, I'm a big boy. I can take it. Text me if you have a problem. Number 2, let me address what you said about our CEO, our founder, our leader, Patrick Bet-David. Okay, this guy has done thousands of interviews. Very rarely do you see people talk shit about Patrick. Mm-hmm. He hands himself with class, respect. He hears conversations. If he's fair, if he disagrees with you, he'll do it respectfully. He's taught me to be nicer and more respectful, even though I am pretty nice and pretty respectful. Mm-hmm. He encourages that. Hey, we have different points of views. I don't care if you're a socialist, if you're a communist, if you're this, if you're that. Come on, we're going to treat you with respect. Class act. To involve him in the drama, I believe, is a little below what you should be doing.
Yeah.
But you know what? Pat's a big boy. No sweat off his back. Here's where I find issue with. When you start attacking the Valuetainment brand.
Yeah.
Okay? When you start attacking the brand and basically saying that we're cheapskates, we're not willing to pay for your flight, you're causing beef over literally $1,000, to me that's pretty petty.
Yeah.
And again, I can't tell you how many times I've defended Rolo here on this show.
Yes.
Okay? So Rolo, don't act like I'm your enemy or we're your enemy. I'm not sure if we actually offended you because we had this guy on, and for that I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay? But again, I don't have to clear who I have on my show with you. Who I do have respect for is your friend and your business partner, Michael Sartain.
Yep.
Michael Sartain's been on the show. Rolo brought him on the show. I think Michael Sartain is an absolute stud. Total respect for this guy. He served in the military. He lives in Vegas. He's a ladies' man. He's a gentleman. He helps men improve. I have nothing but good things about Michael Sartain. Michael texted me, hey, man, what's going on? And we had a whole entire conversation. And he's like, hey, man, I know it's not, I'm sure you didn't mean to do this. Here's where I'm at. I'm defending my friend Rolo. I don't like this other guy. I said, hey, here's my point of view. Total respect conversation took place. Michael Sartain, class act. Again, Rolo, I'm not looking for drama with you. I've texted you multiple times. We can talk. The reason that I'm doing this isn't to defend myself, isn't to defend Patrick Bet-David. It is to specifically protect Valuetainment as a brand. Okay, we've done thousands of interviews. We've had tens of thousands of people come on our channel and our network. We don't engage in petty little drama. Yep. And to pinpoint one specific situation with a debate that was scheduled with Jason Whitlock and Roland Martin, and you weren't even involved in this, bro. You don't know the details of what happened behind the scenes, the ins and outs, the flights, the bookings, the emails. You don't know any of this, okay? And to weigh on it and insinuate that we're here to cause drama and be petty is the exact opposite of what we stand for in this brand. You know, so you had high praise for certain people here at Valuetainment. You had a high praise for our friend Jedediah. I believe you called her your sister. Okay, you've known Jedediah 6 months. Yeah. The only reason you know Jedediah is because of me and because of Pat and because of Valuetainment. We paid for your flights. We paid for your hotels. We paid for your Ubers. We paid for meals. We've dined together, myself, Patrick, and you. We've went out to dinner. We've treated you with nothing with respect. But to come after us over a couple $100 or $1,000 for a flight, and to basically talk shit about me, PBD, Valuetainment, but say that Jed is your sister, I think is a little beneath you. And I think that your approach is a little beneath you. Because I think, genuinely, Rolo, you are better than this.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if you're looking for clout. I'm not sure if you're looking for views. I'm not sure if this is your way for venting or letting off steam, but I genuinely think that you are better than this.
Yes.
And I would encourage you to pick up your phone, text me, call me, and we can talk like gentlemen. I don't think it's too late to repair a relationship.
Right.
Okay? I'm not looking to burn bridges. Again, for the umpteenth time, I have respect for Rolo. Okay? But what he's doing is disrespectful to us.
Yes.
We have an entire brand here that we've built. And to mischaracterize what we do here because of $1,000 flight difference, or for one debate that was scheduled that you weren't even a part of with PBD on the PBD podcast, I think is a little beneath you. And I think you're better than that. And I think you have someone close to you, Michael Sartain, that can talk sense to you, because I think he's a very reasonable person. Again, I have a lot of respect for Michael Sartain and for Rolo. But you guys let me know. Am I off base here? Am I crazy here? I'm not too big to apologize. I've done an apology before. I'm not perfect. As we say, we don't walk on water over here. But we do. You see this shirt on my chest? You see this V on my heart? We respect other people, we respect our brand, and we hold our brand to the highest level of integrity. And to say otherwise, I think, would be diminishing exactly what we do here. And we just had hundreds of people show up for a live event because they respect what we do. That's it. So, again, I'm not looking for this drama. I'm responding to you calling us out. You know, Trump, whether you like him or not, he will punch 10 times harder when you call him out.
Right.
So I'm not trying to compare myself to that, but have a little respect when you put a little respect on my name when you talk about Valuetainment.
Yes.
Again, I'm a big boy. Talk as much shit as you want about me, Adam Sosnick. Clip it. Boom, boom, boom. Talk as much shit as you want about PBD. He's a big boy. He can take it. Have a little respect for the Valuetainment brand, because we do not stand for that shit. Okay? Anyway, rant over. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did we handle this well? Did Rolo handle it well? Do you think that he acted petty? Do you think that we're being petty right now? I don't know. I'm just trying to treat people with respect and address an issue that he put out there into the interweb, not so much us. Again, last but not least, I wasn't even aware of this nonsense.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of the Superchat drama. I didn't know that you had beef with this particular guy. This isn't my world, bro. Last but not least, my world, I work in finance. I deal in South Beach nightlife, okay? I do PBD podcast. I do this shit for fun, okay? Red pill stuff, whatever you want to call it, manosphere stuff. I appreciate this alley that we're in. I appreciate the audience that we have, but this is not my life, okay? So last but not least, we talk about what it means to be a man. What it means to be a man is not venting your drama on the internet. It's calling somebody and being like, hey, man, can we talk about this? That's a fucking man.
Yeah.
So you have my number. Call me. Use it. Happy to talk to you any single time. And if you have drama out there, address it. I'm talking to people out there in your world. That's it. Rant over.
Rant over.
Anyway, sorry that we had to even go down this path. It's not what I like to do over here, this type of petty drama, but we got brought into it. With that being said, Nat, anything you want to address?
No, I agree. I think our brand is very, very important, and what we're doing for the world is even more important. And I think holding that to a standard and a level of respect is required. So I think you said it all. I think that's good, and you can move accordingly, and the problem can be fixed. Nothing's permanent per se. So that's my take on that. And then I have last two super chats.
Go for it.
Okay, so last two super chats, we have Glenn Lawrence. Hey, Adam, could you do me a favor and get Ricky Red Pill to debate me on your show? In return, I will bring Red Pill Thor for you to interview. Then we have username _ just do more research on who you plan, like Miss Bila. Overall, great podcast. Thank you.
Thank you. By the way, we do research.
Yeah, literally.
We don't we research what they stand for, who they are, their content. I don't research petty drama that they had years ago. Nobody does that, okay? And it's not like some of these people have major Wikipedias out there.
Right.
Okay. One more?
Yes. We have one more. It's from MD. I'm tired of YouTubers having to deal with Rolo's drama. Please be done with Rolo. He's no good. He should start a soap opera. He does this drama all the time, and with many people, it takes away from the quality of the content. Hey. Listen, that's for you to address.
We'll just leave it there with
just
that.
Leave it
you
there,
guys let us know in the comments here. Again, I have so much going on in my life. We have so much going on here at Valuetainment. The last thing we're doing is looking for petty drama.
Yeah.
I can promise you that. With that being said, overall, I thought today was a great episode.
Yes.
I thought we addressed a lot of things. I thought we talked about Tate, Rogan, money, my family, my dad, understanding how to save. We talked about Tom. We talked about Gisele. We talked about Gary Vee. Hey, no offense, Gary Vee.
Right.
We talked about ageism, sexism, misogyny, all that and then some. This is where finance meets romance. So we're covering a wide range of topics. But last but not least, save the drama for your mama.
Save it.
Okay? And save that money. Let's get a little smoke before we get out of here.
Yes.
Before we go on the weekend and get a little smoke in there. You guys, be safe out there. Enjoy the weekend. And save the drama and save that money. We out.
Save it. Bye, guys. Nice.
What happened to